So let's react to space data centers are done by Pehdrew. This is a interesting topic right now because AI data centers are being built throughout the world, especially in the US and China. And the controversy and backlash towards data centers are increasing. Although I'm in favor of building more data centers, they do have an impact. They increase the cost of electricity because the companies, they don't want to pay for the price of building new infrastructure. Also, there's decreasing the quality of life of people living close to those data centers. The noise, if they burn coal, there's this downside as well. So yeah, data centers, they are a net negative in terms of the living conditions of people. For the videos I saw with regards to the data centers and how they affect the people that live there. Yeah, and those data centers, they don't need to be close to living areas because low latency. They're depending of if you are training a model or if you are running inference, there's a debate. But if you're just running, they don't need to be close to homes. And we're gonna be giving an opinion on this. I think I'm more pro AI than most, I would say, but that's because I've trained a few models. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, let's watch this video.
If threatening economic collapse and the annihilation of human civilization weren't enough, AI data centers are now presenting a new problem: resources. A large data center will now put out enough heat for 100,000 homes into an increasingly hot atmosphere and slurp up enough water for 1,000 families. Obviously, something is going to have to give if we want to continue to build out this infrastructure that no one
I'm going to give my hypothesis on why I think these companies want to build data centers on space. Some of you might probably agree, or some of you might disagree, okay? But the gist of it is that it does not make sense to build data centers in space because of the cost, right? You don't want to put thousands and thousands of GPUs in space. The cost is tremendous. And the argument for this video, I'm gonna have to watch the video, but yeah, let's see.
Actually wants. That's why recently some AI tech bros have suggested moving data centers here to space, but that's a stupid idea for almost every reason.
Yeah,
it's kind of embarrassing actually.
Well, let's see.
Here's why.
Now entering the facility.
The idea of space-side AI data centers seems almost exclusively popularized by tech billionaires who believe that they would be doing physics if they weren't so busy not paying taxes. And if you don't understand simple physics, the idea does sound pretty smart. AI data centers need a lot of cooling, space is really cold. Boom! AI data centers need a lot of power, there's...
No, there's actually, yeah. Space does not have a good heat spreading, I think. There's also someone talking about this where they say that heat dissipation is not good in space. That's the term. But let's see the video.
Infinite power from the sun in space. Boom! AI data centers need a lot of space. Space has all of that. Boom! You're welcome, shareholders. But like other very futuristic but ultimately totally impractical megastructures, AI data centers fall down as an idea if you know the physics.
Don't you also fake being a physicist?
Yes, Aria, but hoarding the equivalent of an entire country's wealth isn't the main reason why people take me seriously. It's the smolder. Ooh, try to resist that. You can't.
Yeah,
I won the staring contest. I did. Let's start with the most reasonable reasons for space data centers and work towards the least, as they are all intertwined. Some SDC proponents make the case that moving artificial intelligence into space would be a boon for satellites that right now collect a lot of Earth observation data and then beam it down to the planet for processing. If that processing could be done by GPU clusters in space instead, it would make everything a lot faster and more efficient. This seems like a fine but niche use case. However, what makes the headlines are not the niche cases, but mega to gigawatt-sized AI installations in orbit.
A gigawatt data center in space. It's an absurd idea, okay? We're talking about, so I don't know if you guys saw the buildings. Let's go to Abilene. Go to Google Earth. Let's go to Abilene, Texas. Can I use Google Earth on Opera? Let's go to Abilene, Texas. I want to explore Earth. Let's go to Abilene, Texas, where OpenAI is building the Stargate. It's a massive thing. Can we see here? I don't know if this is the updated one. Let me see I want to see the time. I don't know if this is the latest one, but it's a massive. Okay, I think this is the one, right? I don't know if this is the updated one, but you could see the building. It's a massive thing. I don't know. This is the one. No, it's way bigger than this. It's way bigger. It's right here. I don't know if it's here. Let's go for Stargate. Let's search for Stargate. Stargate OpenAI. Let's see. Okay, it's here. So can you guys see the size of this? Can you guys see? I don't think this is updated, right? Let's go to okay. We updated. So can you guys see the size of this thing? It's massive. Let's go with the measure. So it goes with this road to this road. It's like 1,393 meters. So 1.4, almost a mile in length. Okay. So I need to go here. Yeah, we need to stay in 2025. Okay. Yeah. So it's massive. This is from July last year, where they were building. It's massive. You guys see how tiny the cars are? Like we have this, dude, so many cars here. The buildings are massive. So yeah, I don't think this data center is, I think this data center is just over 1 gigawatt, if I'm not mistaken. So 1 gigawatt data center in space would be massive. Okay, so this is gonna be, I think, 400,000 GPUs. Yeah, 1 gigawatt. My point is that 1 gigawatt is a lot of GPUs. Okay, a ton of GPUs, and putting that in space, it would be probably thousands of launchers of satellites. But it's not a menial task. Okay,
doing what they do on Earth.
We'll push right here.
Like make stupid chiropractic videos and destabilize the world economy. And almost everything about this idea is intro to engineering level wrong. There are 3 ways to transfer heat in this universe. The first is by conduction.
Yeah, this is how coolers work. Coolers, like the GPU cooler that we have on your CPU work. The contact it makes.
Innumerable energy-conserving collisions, 2 objects in contact will reach an equilibrium temperature with each other as their atoms jiggle against one another. The second way is convection. This is like conduction, except that heat is moving from one place to another via the movement of fluids, like air swirling around a sweet Turk in the oven or water flowing past you in a pool. That's why a summer swim is so refreshing. This is like water cooling. So we saw air cooling, now we're seeing water cooling. Or water flowing past you in a pool. That's why a summer swim is so refreshing. Water is a very good conductor, and new water is constantly conducting heat away from your body as you move.
You looked especially refreshed after that one time.
It was cold, Aria, okay? It's not always... Moving on. There's basically nothing in space.
Citation needed.
So the dominant mode of heat transfer in the void is the third way, radiation. Everything with a temperature emits radiation as charged particles in matter speed up slow down,
So-
excite.
So this is the heat that we got from PCs, right? So this is why you don't want to have a 5090 on your bedroom, because the radiation, the heat spreads throughout your room. So this is why high TDPs is really bad. I'm learning a lot from this video.
De-excite and release energy in the form of photons of light as they do so. However, this is the least efficient way to transfer heat energy around. And so the main reason that everyone gives for moving data centers to space, cooling, is either ignorant of thermodynamics or ignoring it. We can put numbers to
You could try to do a few things. Maybe I was trying to think. I'm got lost in
this because we already have stuff in space with significant cooling challenges. According to the AI ruining Google search, the very best GPUs put out about 1,000 watts of waste heat. That's about
there's some GPUs that goes to 1200.
10 times more waste heat than your body produces, which is kind of crazy to think about. Today's data centers can have more than 100,000 of these GPUs, which means 100 million watts of heat that has to go somewhere. Why not space? Well, the biggest and best heat radiating technology.
But I don't think you can put 100,000 GPUs in the same place in space. So you could put like 100 in the same place, and you could make them communicate. Because 100,000 GPUs is a ton of GPUs. Like, there's no way like a super heavy from SpaceX can launch this amount of GPUs, unless you build like it's international space building to put GPUs there. But yeah, this whole thing, it seems more plausible to launch like small satellites with a couple hundred GPUs, like 100 GPUs, and then you have a small cluster which you can run a model, and then you launch many of these so they can run models for inference. Because I think the main goal is for inference, and we're gonna talk about why in a bit. Continue watching the video.
That we have in space is on the International Space Station. The radiators are right here in between the solar panels and have a surface area of 42 square meters. According to NASA, this area can reject around 14,000 watts of heat into deep space. Do you see the problem? It's with the number of zeros. ISS would require over 7,000 times the surface area, 300,000 square meters. This is the size of the International Space Station. And this would be the size of a single space data center with the requisite cooling panels. The ISS was the most expensive construction project in human history. And you're telling me that to solve the AI resource problem, we're gonna put hundreds or even thousands of these monstrosities into orbit in 5 to 10 years with current technology? Someone slept through Thermodynamics 101.
But Kyle, shouldn't we at least move AI data centers to space so that they can have infinite sun energy and not use any of our energy on Earth?
Actually, Fun Voice, no. And for the same simple reason. Surface area. Most of you have never been to space, but that doesn't mean that you don't know
Okay, that wasn't called for, okay?
how heat transfer in space actually works. In fact, I'd reckon that many of you have had first-hand experience with it. Case in point, this is a thermos. This is my Yeti thermos. It's fantastic. You can also get these cool Demon Core and nuclear waste warning sign stickers at shop.kylehill.net. Anyway, how a thermos like this can keep ice cubes ice for like 24 hours is the fact that they use the vacuum, just like space has. So inside of this Yeti thermos, you have two stainless steel walls. In between those walls is nothing. It has been evacuated.
So yeah, so vacuum doesn't allow for radiation, which would be, or in the material doesn't absorb the atoms, so the temperature doesn't spread. Yeah, my head hurts a little bit.
Of air. Now, because of this, there is no physical medium through which you can have conduction or convection. So on the inside, on the inner wall, you have ice water, and then you have nothingness, and then you have this outer wall exposed to the environment. Because this interstitial space is effectively the vacuum of space, heat can only transfer through radiation, meaning that heat transfers very slowly.
Okay, so radiation still occurs. Okay, interesting.
Meaning that your water stays cold. In fact, I've done some calculations about heating and cooling in space before, and I think it would take the human body, which is mostly water, like over a day, if not many more days, to freeze all the way through if you ejected a body into outer space, which hasn't happened yet. Anyway, it's fun engineering examples like this that brings the void a little bit closer to the vacuum that is your mouth. That's how you drink stuff. You create a vacuum in your whatever. I forgot to put ice in it. You get it. Yes, there's a giant fusion reactor in the sky, but getting power in space isn't exactly a walk on cake, or whatever humans say. Solar power is good, but it requires a lot of surface area, and the panels themselves are
Putting AI data centers on space so far, we saw for heat dissipation, not good, and the cost wasn't even mentioned yet, but we know that the cost would. For Elon has SpaceX, so he could probably be the one that got for cheaper. But for the other ones, yikes, right? I don't know if OpenAI has any plan. NVIDIA, I think NVIDIA invested in a startup to put GPUs on space. They put a single GPU.
Are heavy, and that makes them expensive to get into orbit. Chemical fuel is very energy dense, but it's also very heavy and therefore expensive.
You're going to say something about nuclear power now, aren't you?
No, Arya. Even the nuclear technology that we currently have in space, radioisotope thermoelectric generators, are relatively weak in the amount of electricity that they can produce. So how are we going to actually make all those short films that get ratioed on Twitter by moving those hot, giant racks to space?
Excuse me?
GPUs, Arya. What did you think I meant? The best comparison is again the International Space Station. It has the largest solar panels ever deployed in space. Two 1,000 kilogram retractable blankets of 33,000 solar arrays each. These engineering marvels can produce 200 kilowatts of power
200?
in direct sunlight. An NVIDIA H200 GPU draws 700 watts at full slop. You don't have to act like you understand
Oh, it's love. Okay.
physics to do the simple math here. Just line up the zeros. It would take at least 300 ISS-sized solar arrays to power just one large space data center, and probably many more than that, due to inefficiencies, cooling, redundancies, etc. You're telling me that in the next few years we're going to successfully launch nearly 500,000 kilograms into space per data center, safely, efficiently, and economically?
Really? Really? Really?
This is not a serious idea for serious people, and honestly, it's exhausting.
I think now I'm gonna go with my hypothesis as why they wanna put these data centers in space. So if AGI happens, let's say if AGI happens, we're gonna see a massive backlash from people. We are already seeing a huge backlash towards AI right now because of AI slop, and there's some people in entry-level jobs who are having difficulties in getting their first job because AI can do a lot of stuff that people would usually have a person doing, but the models are getting better. Now, it might be the case that the AI progress that we're going to see from 1 year to 2 years from now is not that substantial, okay? But it could also be the case that we're going to see the progress continue until we get AGI. When we get AGI, what's going to happen is one of two things. The companies will have to figure out a new kind of economic. There's no way to say it. AI is gonna kill capitalism. Okay, which is ironic. But yeah. So the backlash is gonna be immense if that happens. It could be also the case that these companies get AGI and they don't provide them for humanity or for people, and they just use for their own benefit. So everything they wanna, they don't need money because they have AGI. They can live in their dystopia. They can, let's say, solve all their problems. Now, the backlash from people, it would be akin to the French Revolution, I think. So people would probably start attacking data centers, which is something that Yakowski already talked about, that data centers could likely be a valid military target. But I think people would take issues to their own hands. So we could probably see attacks on data centers. And that's my main hypothesis as to why people want to put these data centers in space. Because if you put those data centers in space, they are floating in space. You don't need to build a data center per se. You just need a couple of GPUs. They are able to run the model. Let's say if you get AGI, it runs saying 10 GPUs or 20 GPUs. It's possible. It's not that far-fetched. GPU today is going to have 500 gigabytes, 20 GPUs like 10 terabytes of memory, so it can run the biggest model that we have today. So I think guys can see my view, right? So the elites want to put GPUs in space. They don't want people to be able to destroy them, right? Because if we get AGI, I cannot predict what would happen. It's very likely that we'd see the backlash from people and they would attack data centers. So if you put your GPU in space, they would be theoretically safe from people. Governments that have access to missiles would not, but yeah, but I guess they are worried about people.
Waste their time backtracking to first principles and interviews about it. It's just...
Deep breaths, big man. Hey, why don't you talk about radiation? You love that.
Oh yeah, good thinking. Radiation in space may not immediately incapacitate astronauts, but if space data centers are to constantly and carefully process terabytes of data in the void, radiation in space and in orbit is going to be a real risk to sensitive electronics and data integrity. An unstoppable solar storm wiping out the majority of humanity's compute in just a day seems like a bad thing. And the shielding against that thing is going to be heavy and therefore expensive and therefore hard to get into space. Honestly, space is one of the last places where I'd want the majority of humanity's digital throughput to be. It's hard to...
Yeah, but I don't think it would be the majority. As I said, I think it would be just for the inference part, for their own usage. Because if they get AGI, guys, I don't think we are gonna get AGI. Okay, if Sam Altman and Elon get AGI, I think they're gonna keep AGI for themselves, and we're gonna have to fight for 6 of 2 gigabytes of RAM to survive, because AI is gonna consume all memory. That's not a good future, right? Definitely not a good
stuff
feature.
There. It's hard to power stuff there. It's hard to maintain stuff there. It's hard to move stuff there out of the way if debris is heading at it at Mach. It's going to be hard for astronomers to see stuff in the night sky if they're filled with all these shareholder-driven monstrosities with these giant panels so many times larger than the International Space Station. Why are we still talking about this? Sorry, I was slop mopping again. Look, data centers in space is a fun idea, but it's a sci-fi idea like space elevators or Dyson spheres.
Okay, hear me out. So we got AGI. AGI plans how to build data centers in space and does it. When it does so, it doesn't need humanity anymore. So it's screwed. So yeah, that could be a possibility, right? That could be a possibility because we don't know how to build data centers in space. What if we build GPUs that don't have heat? Yeah, but I don't know physics enough to talk about this. But yeah, But if you follow the logic that all the physics that we know is not all the physics that exist, and AGI could figure it out, why not? A data center space might be might be viable. I don't know.
If all of the oxygen wasn't continuously being sucked out of the room by money vampires, we could entertain better ideas. For example, some companies are looking to put AI data centers at the bottom of the ocean.
I think Microsoft or Google did this, and they didn't saw a difference. But there's a liquid. I saw this a couple of months ago. Liquid cooling. It's like a liquid that you put your PC on, and it does. Let me see if I can find. It's like a liquid that you put a PC on, and this liquid doesn't fry the board.
It's non-toxic and it's 40 degrees, so it's
Okay.
hot spring.
So this technology already exists.
Really cold, there's excellent conduction and convection, and there's near infinite water for cooling. But they're being drowned out by all this other stuff that we're forced to hear about, and this is just a thought, we could not cover the entire world in GPUs that we don't want. But what do I know?
But this the thing, Kyle. We do want those reviews. It's like saying we don't want more information or knowledge. It's like we do want them. If I could have 1,000 GPUs, I would. So yeah.
I don't have big crazy ideas that'll never work. Until next time.
Administrator, the antimatter ramjet Venusian apartment levitator is ready for testing.
You'll see. In 5 to 10 years, we'll have them. I'll talk about it on a podcast and get $1 billion. You'll see. You're just not kind of playing the chess that I'm playing. I'm playing 4D chess. You're such a... I'm Sigma. I'm a Sigma. You're not Sigmas.
Now exiting the facility.
Thank you so much to the very nerdy staff.
This wasn't a really good video. I'm gonna link the video down below. But yeah, to sum it up, I've talked in this video. I think it does make sense to put GPUs in space for inference if we get AGI to safeguard from attacks, especially from the public on data centers. Because once you get AGI and they are safe in space, you can have access to them. That would be safe from this attack vector. But for training, it doesn't make sense for the majority of people. Okay, and to run inference for the whole humanity, it also doesn't make sense. But that's pretty much the video, guys. As I said, I'm gonna link the video down below if you guys want to watch it, and leave a like. Kyle makes really good videos about science and AI, which are really interesting. But that's it, pretty much the video. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.